Hello, hello, Timothy Bailey here from Project Learn with another video for today. So yesterday, my wife, Lucy, she likes to look at my text chats with my friends because when she looks at them, it helps with her English. She's from China, so her English is very good, but she likes to understand some of the sort of native language that we use. And when she looks at my text message conversations, she doesn't always understand what we're talking about. So she put together a small list of some of the phrases that my friends and I used. And I thought today we would look at some everyday language. So these are actual phrases that I used with my friends in talking just every day. So it's always nice to learn words, right? Like this word on the right. But to be honest, when are you going to use this word? This word's anti-disestablishmentarianism. You're never going to use this word. You live for 500 years and not use this word. So one of the things that's important for people is learning everyday language. Let's go ahead and start. So here we have a small rope or a cord, right? And the rope here has made a loop, right? A loop. Let's look at our example sentence. Even though Bill had worked at the company for many years, he felt like he was not in the loop. When things happened, he was often surprised, right? So what does that mean, in the loop, right? Well, Bill doesn't quite know what's happening at his job, right? Things happen and then, surprise, he learns about it, right? So for Bill's company, the information, what is happening or what is going to happen, you can think of it as being here, okay? Bill then is not in the loop. He's out here somewhere. When it happens, it's a surprise to him. So in the loop means to be informed, right? To know about something. Here's a good drawing for what I just said, right? So the loop is all the people or the situation that is known, and then people outside of the loop do not know, right, what is happening. Okay. Here's a little cartoon for that one. Down at the bottom, Dan began to suspect he'd been left out of the loop again. And you can see here's Dan way over here. Here's the loop, the group of people talking about something that Dan is not informed about. Okay? In the loop. That's a good one. And another one. So this is a conversation between Abdul and Veronica. Hey, Veronica, are you still going to Columbus this weekend? We have a big exam Monday. I know. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Right now, my plans are in limbo. So the phrase is in limbo, right? In limbo means undecided. Veronica's not sure what she's going to do, right? She even says that, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. She's either going to take the trip or not take the trip. Those are the two choices, right? Possibly she's going to take the trip later or at another time, right? So that's another choice as well. In limbo often is about a good choice or a bad choice, right? That you have to decide from. And in religious situations, in limbo is often the place sort of between heaven or the perfect place and hell, the very bad place, right? So when you look up limbo, you might see that as part of the definition as well. But really, in conversation, to be in limbo means to be undecided. Haven't decided between this or this yet, okay? Imagine this is a text conversation between Afiseta and Fang, right? How's it going, Fang? Not great. My grandmother is sick. Oh, that's too bad. I'm sending you strength and good thoughts, okay? This one here, what do you think it means? What is Afiseta sending Fang? We can't send strength. We can't send necessarily good thoughts like through the post office or Amazon, right? She's sort of sending well wishes, right? Prayers, right, for religious people, positive feelings, positive thoughts, right? This isn't necessarily an expression, a set expression, right? You wouldn't be able to find this on a list of American expressions. This is an example of how, at least in English, we're able to be creative with the language that we use so that it still conveys understanding. So in this conversation, we use strength and good thoughts, right? And people understand the non-physical idea of strength, being strong with your spirit and good thoughts, and we're able to still understand what this expression means, even though we don't regularly use these words together like this. Okay, this is another thing very difficult in English. The ability for us to create expressions out of nothing and put them together and still be understood, still convey understanding. Right? So strengthen good thoughts, well wishes, positive feelings, all of that. Here's a conversation between Lucy and Yato, right? Well, Yato, now that you have 3 years under your belt, how do you feel about the job? I've finally become comfortable and I like it a lot. And of course, no matter how much you do it, I have a typo here, so it should be I apostrophe VE, I have. Right? I finally become comfortable and I like it a lot. So the expression here is under your belt. Some research on this idiom, right? This is an idiom, IDIOM, suggests that, here's the belt, that this meaning comes from when we would eat and the food would pass below our belt, right? So we would have that already in us, eaten and being processed through our body, right? Of course, this is when our belt was a little bit higher probably, right? So under your belt then is something in the past, right? To have learned or succeeded at something, to have gained experience, right? To be past the point where you're just sort of starting, right? This is later. Okay? Let's look at another one. Here's a sample conversation between Soon and David, right? Hey, David, are you busy? I could use your help. Nah, I could help. I got some time to kill before I go to work. Time to kill, right? A dangerous sounding idiom, right? Here's a picture for you. So the person's going to hammer the clock, right? This one really means time to waste before doing something else. So David has to go to work, maybe, I don't know, in an hour, maybe in a couple hours. So he has some free time. He has some time where he can help Soon with whatever job he needs done. Okay? The idea here is that we are getting rid of the extra time, killing the extra time, right? In a good way, often, right? Often we are killing time, maybe by helping someone, or we might just be reading or doing something else, right? So time to kill. Here's a news reporter. Due to the coronavirus, many companies have been forced to lay off employees. Hopefully, many of them will get their jobs back once the virus is gone. Okay, so the idea here is layoff. Right? What does it sound like the news reporter is saying for the companies and the employees? Right? Good. The employees, right, because of the virus and their stores are closing for a while, employees are losing their job, right? So they're being forced to leave their place of employment. So to lose one's job for business or non-individual reasons. What that means is these people here didn't lose their job because they were fired, because they were stealing, or because they did something bad at work. They're losing their jobs because the coronavirus is shutting down the store for an extended period of time. Or other situations when there's not a virus, maybe business is not doing well, so they cannot afford to have the same number of employees. Okay, so layoff is nothing bad about the individuals. These people are probably all good workers, but because of the virus, right, they cannot keep them in their job. Now, for people who are laid off, they may or they may not get their job back. That's sort of up to the company, right, as far as what I've found. Let's get another one. There we go. This is a funny picture. This here is a fort, right? This is a stone fort. In America's history, we had forts that were also made out of wood. Think sort of like the idea of a castle in Europe, only much smaller and simpler. The military in the past would stay here and they would protect an area. They would live there. They might have their guns and things like that there, right? And then you have the hand sort of pushing down on the fort. Let's look at our conversation. This one's between Tim and Chris. Hey, Chris, how's it going with the quarantine and the kids? Good. I'm working from home, and Lynette is holding down the fort. Okay, so this person holding down the fort. Well, what do you think that means? right? What is Lynette doing? Well, she's sort of managing, right, the house, right? She's managing something, right? She's keeping things under control, just like here, this hand sort of keeping the fort under control, okay? For this example, right, let's go back down here quick. For this example, the fort is the home, and the attack, right, might be the loss of order in the house, the kids running crazy. Hold the fort used to mean to defend the fort from attack, like in this picture. So when Lynette is holding down the fort, she's sort of taking care of things, right? Running, managing everything that's going on. Here's the teacher, right? So these are the rules for our class. However, I am not above bribery, particularly in terms of chocolate. Well, what does bribery mean? Bribery is like this picture shows, right? So two people here shaking hands, and one of them looks like he's giving some money here to the other person. Well, bribery is giving money for favors or services, right? You give me this job and I'll give you a little bit of money without people knowing about it. Politicians occasionally get in trouble for this. The teacher here, however, in this context, is making kind of a joke, right? The teacher's being funny, right? She's telling the class, these are the rules, these are what you have to do. However, right, I do like chocolate, and so I'll bend the rules if given chocolate, right? She's not really being serious. She's sort of being funny with the students, right, about that, okay? So not above bribery means, right, this is something that I would do, right, that I would do, okay? When we use bribery in conversations like this, it's almost always joking. In other situations, bribery for politicians and people like that is always a bad thing, right? Always a bad thing. Right, here's one of my favorite little guys, right? So my bad, right? That's what he's saying. Let's look at the conversation here between Helena and Molly, right? Molly, that last muffin was supposed to be mine. Sorry, Helena, my bad. Okay, my bad. What does Molly mean? Right? It's okay, it's my muffin. Nah, I'm only sorry, right? He didn't mean to, or maybe he didn't know it was Helena's muffin, so he feels bad about that. Right? So to say that something was your mistake, your error, or your fault, right, is what we're saying when we say my bad. My bad, when it's used for small things, right, is okay, right? Such as you spill somebody's milk. Sorry, my bad, right? And then you clean it up. However, when my bad is used for large things, right? I crashed your car, I borrowed your car and I crashed it in a tree. Whoops, sorry, my bad, right? That's not good, right? Also, if it's used with a sarcastic stress, right? Sorry, my bad, right? This expression can be rude. So you really, for this one, have to be very careful how you are saying this, right? Your feeling sorry needs to be genuine, right? Oh, sorry, my bad, right? I didn't mean to do that, right? So leave out the sarcastic stress in this expression and make sure it's for something inconsequential, something small and not very meaningful, okay? This here is an iceberg, right? An iceberg. Icebergs are quite fascinating. Most of them is under the water, right? Even what we see, which is huge when you see it floating in the ocean, is nothing compared to the rest of it, okay? So we use this for sort of a metaphor for many things. What we're looking at now, right? Let's look at the news reporter again. Sales for the tourism industry were down this year. One of the underlying reasons was an increase in inclement weather that cut down on outside travel and sport. Right? So we have two words here, underlying reasons. This would be the noun, this would be the adjective, right? Underlying means being or situated beneath or under, below, just like this part is below the water, okay? And reasons, we know, are why we do something, right? The reason I was late was I missed the bus. Okay, that's the reason. So underlying reasons then are the hidden or not easily known cause for something. Okay, things that we have to reveal that people don't know why this happened. Here's a good picture, right? Using the iceberg. This is all